All right, folks, good morning. Okay, let's get started here. So, for today, Monday, the 16th of December, we have the following information. At 8:30 a.m., we had the Empire State Manufacturing Index, which came in weaker than expected, a lot weaker than expected at zero point 0.2. Expectation was 6.4. It's not unusual to have big surprises on this, however, it's pretty normal. And then at 9:45 a.m., we have Flash Manufacturing PMI. We will have, excuse me, Flash Manufacturing PMI and Flash Services PMI. Both of these are major reports, so we expect high market impact. That will be 15 minutes after market open, which means any stocks that we find prior to that, if they'll have to look extremely good for us to be willing to take a chance on them. So we'll be very cautious at the beginning. May not be able to enter into anything within the first 15 minutes. All right, having said that, taking a look at the QQQ ETF, the NASDAQ ETF, we are currently trading higher than where we closed on Friday. Friday's action was mixed, neutral, but lots of volatility. Right now, it looks like we're going to open higher, substantially higher than where we closed on Friday. As far as stocks which were moving on Friday, we didn't find anything that really worked out the way we wanted. SoundHound would have been great. They had a very nice overall move, but we actually got stopped out pretty early, and then after that, pull back here. After that, we weren't able to get another good entry setup before our initial target, and then after that, the stock just kind of went as far as it wanted to. Having said that, let's take a look at the pre-market and see what's moving today. So as far as what I see right now, and here are the stocks that are showing up on my radar, and let's see if they match up. First is AMPG, which is currently up only 3.47%, not the 6% required, so we'll have to pass on that one. Next one is CDIO. Okay, that currently is up over 13%. Well, now it's up over 12%. 3 million shares plus, it's at least $1 per share, so that does qualify fully. So we can go ahead and add that to our pre-market watch list. Again, the symbol is CDIO. All right, next up is CETX. Let's check that one out. Okay, that one's currently up only 3%. It was up more, so we'll pass on that since it doesn't fully qualify with the percentage move. Next up is CKPT, which is presently up only 3%, so that also does not meet our full requirement for percentage change, so we'll pass on that. LAES is next. That does qualify. It's up 53, let's say 52%, and 31.5 million shares, at least $1 per share. That all qualifies, so we'll go ahead and add LAES to our pre-market watch list. Moving on from there, we've got Mara's up, but I don't think it's up enough. Let me see. Yeah, it's only up 3% at the moment. It was up more earlier, but that doesn't qualify, so we'll skip. Next is NMHI. That one is presently up 60% on about 9.9 million shares, and it's at least $1 per share. We'll go ahead and add NMHI to the pre-market watch list. Next up is ONDS. Let's see if that qualifies. Currently up just barely over the qualification, up 6.07%. 1.8 million shares traded. It's at least $1 per share. So as of this moment, ONDS does qualify. It just needs to stay above the percentage requirement. Next up is Palantir, PLTR. Right, that does not qualify. It doesn't have enough of a percentage move, so we'll pass on that. Next up is RCAT. That is presently up. Red Cat Holdings, that's currently up about 15%. over 5.9 million shares, and it's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add RCAT to the pre-market watch list as well. Next up is RGTI. That's only up 0.99%, so not enough. So we'll pass on that. Next up is RVPH. That's only up 1.53%. So again, that's not up as much as it needs to be, so we'll pass. Next up, RZLV. And that currently is up nearly 8. Well, now it's up 8%, 2.8 million shares, at least $1 per share. So that does qualify. We'll add RZLV to the pre-market list. Next up is SIDU, presently up over 60%, over 3.2 million shares, and it's at least $1 per share. So we can add that SIDU to our pre-market radar. Next up is, let's see if that actually, it looks like it did. SMCI. Oh yeah, down 12.5%, 6.9 million shares, currently trading at about $32 a share. And let me guess what happened. So let's see, SMCI, I'm looking for the headline here. I'm guessing what it is. But let me just see if that's true. Let's have a guess what it might be, but let me find out. Okay. Okay, so this one occurred after markets, but here it is. Supermicro Computer shares are trading lower following reports suggesting the company tapped Evercore to raise capital and is considering raising equity and debt. All right, so that's based on its business, not anything as bad as I thought or suspected. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Okay. Next up is SOBR. That's currently down negative 68% on 1.4 million shares. It's at least $1 per share still. We'll add that to our pre-market watch list. SOBR. All right, next up is SoundHound, SOUN. That's currently up 5.26%, so not enough, but could be up enough later. We'll add this to our possibilities list. Over 6 million shares, of course, it's well over $1 per share. So SoundHound will be added to the possibilities watch list, but not to our main list for the pre-market. And last one I see is WKEY, which is currently up about 11% on 9.3 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll add WKEY to the pre-market list. All right, so if you folks see any other stocks other than the ones I've already mentioned that meet all 4 of our criteria, let me know in the chat. Those criteria must be a NASDAQ listed stock in the current pre-market session. It must have achieved at least 1 million shares of pre-market volume. It must be trading at least $1 per share and must have achieved at least a 6% price change, positive or negative. UBXG is mentioned, so take a look at that. That's up 17%, 1.3 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add UBXG to the list, and MSTX is also on the, as mentioned, that's up 7% plus on 1.3 million shares, over $1 per share, of course. That is a ETF, of course, a leverage ETF for MSTR. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap up for today's pre-market pulse. Please be sure to like the video. See, we have 8 likes, but more than 8 people watching, so please be sure to hit the like button. That greatly helps us with the YouTube algorithm as we continue to grow our channel. Also, please subscribe to the channel so that way you get notifications. Also, if anyone's watching this video on a replay, if you're not familiar with our company, check out fundertrading.com, our website. There's a link in the description of this video. Other than that, for everyone who's part of the coaching program, I'll see you there in about 20 minutes, and we'll pick up for today's session. Otherwise, folks, have a great trading session. I will see you for tomorrow's Pre-Market Pulse. Trade well. Take care.